Well, hey there, hi there, and hello there, everybody. Welcome to round one. I said round one. Not really sure why that didn't go through. Of my very own RedEyes $450 Dead in June tournament qualifiers for Group C. Yeah, it's round one. Why is that doing that? And we got 3 rounds of action, mayhem, and strategy coming your way today, ladies and gentlemen. But first and foremost, for those of you who aren't quite acquainted as to who I am, I'm RedEyes, your ever-lovable and adorably cuddly caster, bringing that daily dosage of butt-kickery, tomfoolery, and all-around shenaniganism. And we got a stacked lobby for you today, boys and girls. We got the likes of TRG Straight Execute. We got Try, Godlike NA, In-Game, Black Mamba, Team Narcos, One Blood, Bope Esports, Super Lazy Reflex, Overrated, Looney Tunes, Rough Riders, Puppeteer, Visual Effects, Yakult Club, Zero Eye. We got Tomorrow Guys, Old Gangsters, Team Enigma, and Excuse. So I'm expecting nothing but action right off the bat. And we are going to be kicking things off with, you guessed it, the very first map ever introduced to the game, Erangel. Now, what do we need to say about a map like Erangel? Well, it's essentially the off-bred love child of Sanhok and Miramar, which means it's going to be the perfect middle ground between those two extremes, leaving it fairly reliant upon the flight path to determine what sort of early game we end up getting. And as you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, it's not by any means a central flight path, but it's going to be, you know, close to a lot of the major compounds and cities. So I think they're not going to have too much trouble in terms of early drop locations and getting the resources that they need before engaging. But as we get right on back into here, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we got 3 rounds of action, mayhem, and strategy coming your way today. And that's right, we're going to be starting off with Erangel before taking things over to the open desert and then concluding in Sanhok. And just in case anyone is unaware, we do things by the official PMPL scoring structure. But we are going to go ahead and have a quick look-see at this playing field. Oh, wow. We are getting a lot of love in towards the center portion of the flight path, especially around the Rozhok region. And that's going to be where I'm going to probably tune my attention to start things off, especially considering how close in proximity we have with members of Tryhard and their opponents in Godlike NA. Now, as you can see, a member of Godlike, God L, just 2 buildings over, but he's a little bit outnumbered here, and so realistically, the threat is on him in this situation. But our participants are going to have to keep their eyes out in their distant surroundings, too, because the other members of Godlike are a little bit already busy with these guys, but it's members of SLR, a Tier 1 organization, and already pretty renowned team, so you better come bring in your A-game for that. And off in the distance, while we just have this brief moment, we still have a lot of other things happening on the playing field, especially at the Pachinki region. We got members oh, wow. SLR Long just wrecked house there. So that's going to be a little bit of a rough time for him at the hands of SLR, getting their very first kill of the game and the first one on the playing field, I believe. But still too much happening here in the mix to just stay tuned into one area. So I think for the time being, I'm going to go check out what's happening over in the Pachinki region between members of Old Gangsters and their opponents in Excuse. Now, these are 2 teams that have both been pretty synergized and well rehearsed in this open scrim community. They're very acquainted with my tournament, and I'm sure that they have faced each other just countless times at this point. So it's going to be interesting to see how these 2 handle each other early game before the resources are really acquired. But off in the distance, we also have more action going on. It looks like Try Esports having at it again, and SLR actually having a little bit of revenge served onto them. This time, oh, it is at the hands of the Try boys. But revenge dished out pretty quickly as P2 is taken down in retaliation, leaving it up to Young, Sasuke, and me. Oh, and off in the distance, we have Visual Effects being taken out in the distance. Off in the yonder ways. I think, you know, what I'm going to do is, just while we have this brief moment, get that up on the alternate cam, just to see what's happening. I want to make sure we don't miss anything too significant. As you can see, everyone's just kind of driving around. We got Delore a ways away from his teammate, but neither of them seem to be in any immediate trouble at this point. Well, speaking of trouble, we got Young cooking up a little trouble for Long of SLR, and ooh, Long is in a world of trouble here. Outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, and swimming in a pool of Tri members here. This has definitely got to be the right move to drop down. But ooh, as I say it, I choke on my words. The caster curse, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't believe in it before, I bet you do now. All right, well, what else is happening on the playing field? Not a lot, really, but we actually do have something. I withdraw that statement. We're going to go check in on members of EG. This is going to be the likes of in-game. Yep, they are facing off as we speak against the opponents and Rough Riders. Still 3 members up for their team here. Kid firing away with a Scarl gets the knock with his last bullet. All right, let's actually switch our attention to their opponents. I believe it's just down to 1, yeah? Up, down to 2, and as I say that, they are eliminated. The Rough Riders, it was definitely a rough ride for them. All puns intended. Ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing out the dad jokes in heavy stock today, so be ready to cringe. All right, getting eyes on members of the Old Gangsters. They're not far off from their opponents here, but yet not a whole lot happening between them. And this could lead me to believe that it could be just a bit of a waiting game between these two teams, and you can tend to find this sort of scenario happening, especially early game in large cities, especially, you know, these clustered ones where compound cover is pretty abundant. You can be pretty close to your opponent and still have a pretty decent amount of cover for you. So not a whole lot to be seeing here. We're going to go switch our attention elsewhere. I'm going to say, let's go check in on somebody from the Black Mamba team. It looks like we've got, yeah, it's going to be Nino driving into a love triangle of teams. He's getting up in the mix with members of Tri Esports, Super Lazy Reflex, as well as it looks to be. Oh, I'm sorry. I believe whatever else there was been. Yeah, it's been taken out of the equation, I believe. Let me double check that. Yeah, it was just SLR, Black Mamba, and Tri at this point. So, realistically, Black Mamba has a nice little overwatch position, especially considering the open field surrounding the apartments and school. That's definitely a vulnerable zone. It's like getting your own little Miramar disadvantage on Erangel. But think I'm going to see, just make sure we're not missing out on any intense action. And if you'll look, ladies and gentlemen, you'll notice at the very, very top of the screen, out in the yonder ways, we've got members of, pardon me, we've got members of Visual Effects just holding out in the dead zone, letting these numbers dwindle and trying to get some placement. But ladies and gentlemen, as I did say here, we are working with the new scoring structure, the updated PMPL adjusted scoring structure. So what does that mean for us as viewers? Well, not just us as viewers, but us as participants. It means that eliminations are going to be placing a much higher emphasis here. And placement itself, in terms of survival, is going to be placing a little bit less so. So that is very much intentional for the sake of trying to steer away from these camp-offs, especially as we are passing 5 years into PUBG Mobile esports. I think the skill level on most of our participants is definitely elevated past the level that we don't really need to do that camping stuff. Ooh, Daku is in a world of hurt, just going up against numerous members of Excuse, but he knocked 2 and almost took out a 3rd right there. Not a bad effort on his end, but it's going to leave everything reliant upon his buddy Katri. My apologies, there we go. Katri, and Katri cooking up a utility as we speak. Does it connect? It may actually have. Nope, it looks like those other knocks have not been revived yet, so it's going to be almost a fair fight, a 1v2 here for Old Gangster's Katri, and he put up as best of a fight as he could, got Karma, almost got Kai, taking him down to below half health, but not enough to finish the deal, and just like that, Excuse brings themselves all the way up to 4 kills. All right, I think elsewhere we're going to just make sure we're not missing out on anything too significant. Yeah, we're going to go check in on this central location where SLR is basically the deli meat and a peanut butter and trouble sandwich, sandwiched in between members of Black Mamba and Tri Esports. And all the while, we have a couple potential altercations brewing elsewhere. I'll bring those up on the board. You can get eyes on members of BOPE Esports, another renowned Tier 1 team here. They are not far off from Puppeteer. So that is going to be really interesting to see how that plays out, especially considering that both of those teams are, professional and, elevated level of gameplay would be the expectation that I would set for them. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, while we do have a brief moment of downtime, we're just going to go over the current format as it stands, just so everyone's on the same page here. Now, we got 20 teams competing. Now, of those 20 teams, only 4 teams are going to advance to the $450 qualifiers. We run 3 rounds of qualifiers, so that's 12 qualified teams, plus the 8 invited Tier 1 professional teams, where they're all going to duke it out on Wednesday for that $450 prize pool. All right. I think not a lot happening elsewhere on the playing field. Yeah. This is going to be a bit of a waiting game, it seems, and going to leave us a little bit of downtime, so it's a good thing that we got over that format while we had the time. But it's to be expected on large maps, ladies and gentlemen, and large maps are definitely going to be 2 out of the 3 maps that we're working with today, so you can expect those moments of downtime every now and again, those pockets of silence. But you know what I always say is a more passive early game always directly translates to a more action-packed and climactic mid-or-in-game. But, ooh, there's some action right there as Looney Komochi is just wrecked right out of the vehicle at the hands of in-game. And that's going to leave Kamichi and what's-his-name as the final hopes for the team. Keep in mind, they did just start off as a 3-piece, so they're down to 2. So, all right, I think we'll check out of this and see what's going to happen here as members of XZY. This is going to be the Yakult Club, pardon me, getting reasonably close here to members of Excuse. Now, Excuse already fresh off that previous altercation, finding themselves with that 4-kill, kind of slack in the rope, meaning that they don't need to do any immediate, aggressive hunting. They can wait and let these numbers dwindle down. While I said the eliminations are placing higher emphasis, that does not to say that placement does not still have a strong purpose in these sort of events. All right, well, Suck is about to live up to the irony of that name if he keeps on tempting fate here with Yakult. But off in the distance, BOPE Esports doing some work. Let's go catch eyes really quickly. Now, BOPE, still a full 4-piece team, but with only 2 kills to their name so far. And, ooh, Necro is already a burning bush, caught on fire. He's going to have to utilize some heals here. All the while, GR and the rest of the gang coming in to keep the pressure here on members of Zero Eye, which is just whoop. And here we go. AK-47, I didn't even hear a single bullet being fired out. Well, that's going to leave 1 member of Zero Eye only, and that's going to be Fan. And boy, if BOPE, he's got to pray that BOPE has 0 eyes. Like, corny dad joke, I told you it was coming. Because they still have the height advantage. If they knew of his location, they might even be able to catch a sliver of a line of sight on him. And I'm pretty sure Miner is well aware at this point of the possibility that he could be there. But if not, what a real opportunity for our boy T2YO to catch him off guard. Oh, Pusha taken out in the distance. But boy, is this really not going to happen? You got to give it up here to T2YO. It's not brave, it's not chivalrous, but it is exerting patience. But we are going to switch our attention elsewhere again. Catching eyes on members of visual effects because they are right here in the mix with Overrated. Overrated looking like they are still a full 4-piece. Every man has their own vehicle here. And, oh, this could spell a lot of trouble for NK. Oh, Spark did get Toki. And look, Shanks is almost out of the equation as well here. So a little bit of revenge almost dished out, but not quite. Spark is able to clutch it with that knock on Toki, leaving it up to Wagoon and Delore here. And it looks like Wagoon's going to be in charge of overwatch and cover fire while Delore secures those revives. Now, elsewhere off in the distance, we're just going to have a quick look at the map just to make sure we're not going to be missing out on anything too significant. And it does look like this zone has spoken. It's going to be centering around Pachinki. Not centering, but closing in around Pachinki. And this is going to really start putting the pressure here on our participants. You know, it's going to be a contest for real estate here, and maybe even for high ground. I'm very, very curious, ladies and gentlemen, to see if, in fact, we're going to get anybody occupying these mountainous regions around Pachinki. All right, what should we be tuning into? I think we're going to go check in on members of Team 8. Team 8 is, of course, in a GG. This is going to be Team Narcos GG. And it's Benga, Brave, Shots, and Code. And they were relatively close, not too far off from their opponent southbound in, it looks to be ENS. Or, pardon me, Team Enigma. Oh, wow, that's Team Enigma? Okay, never mind. It's not Enigma fan club there. I almost got caught off guard thinking we had another tier 1 team in there. But I am pretty excited to see that tier 1s are coming to participate in these qualifiers when they're not invited. They're still, you know, coming in and being a part of the event. It means a lot to me. And definitely stands well for being invited in future months. So, a little bit of a waiting game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, nothing really happening on the playing field. And as I say that, someone from EGK going in, Banga catching eyes on Dark of TRG. This is going to be TRG straight execute off in the distance here. We're just going to switch over, I think. Dark is one of a full 4-piece team, but with 0 kills to their name, and it seems like they're going to be doing the slow play, the marathon roll, not the sprint. And that is good and well, but keep in mind, there's only 3 rounds here. Only 3 rounds to make your mark and prove your point and get those point differentials that you need. Only 25% of the playing field will advance to the finals. Now, while that is a pretty high acceptance ratio, that does send 16 teams home crying every single time. Oh, that's been chillin'. Going off, getting a quick takedown. Sorry about that render, ladies and gentlemen. It's still a mobile game at the end of the day. But, catching eyes, we got GR here of Bope Esports. It's Fuego and Miner and GR. And as I say that, Fuego has been removed from the equation. Miner and GR remain half their starting lineup here, driving right by members of Team Narcos, who are just laying low and still being held in hot pursuit. All the while, Excuse continuing to just lay waste to people around them. Let me get a quick, brief eye here on members of Excuse just to see what they're looking like. Wow, still a full 4-piece now with 5 kills to their name. But you know what? No time to waste. Again, we're going to go back to TRG. They are about to be encroached upon by members of Team 8 as we speak. Here we go. It's that kid firing away, trying to do some overwatch while Nukes and his teammate push up to the looming threat just one house over from the Brave Esports crew. Pardon me, Narcos GG crew. And it looks like Try Esports having a bit of a tough time out in the distance. Yep, Try Esports down to 1 member only, and that's going to be Sasuke. Wow, well, with Miner down, that's going to leave GR alone and in an open field here, just swimming in open space, and that is a very scary thought here for him. But you know what else is a little scary? Oh, Nukes being taken down right then and there by Code with that Mini 14. All right, that's going to leave it up to that kid, Targal, and Dark. And boy, Targal just trying, or that kid just trying to hold some space. Dark taking a lot of damage here, reduced down to about 3/4 of his overall health and at a low ground disadvantage to members of Puppeteer. Now, Puppeteer, while they might not have those 4 walls of compound cover, I think, you know, everyone knows who Puppeteer is. That's a confident team in this sort of situation. So I would still take it pretty darn seriously. You don't want to give yourself any opportunities to present yourself on a platter to them. You definitely don't want to give them any easy kills. All right, well, looks like Puppeteer is going to make their rotation right here and now, working their way by TRG, while one member of Puppeteer holds the high ground and does the overwatch and cover fire, keeping TRG held off at bay and restricted from firing on the remainder of the team. I love it. Oh, and Hang is out of there. But it was not without a purpose. He was able to get his team the time and space that they needed to get what they needed done. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, no time to waste. While we have a brief moment, it's time for the 600 UC code. Now, before I can get this up here, I have to get that code ready for the Bear with. Whoop. My apologies. Where is Mr. Mom? There we go. All right. Ooh. Redeem. Ah. All right, we are good. So, we got a lot of action happening right here and now, ladies and gentlemen. We have got to catch over here. We'll switch on over in just a minute, but it looks like we've got so many fights here on the board. Yeah, we're going to switch over here to members of Overrated. They are up in a tough conundrum, but as I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to give out those codes. So, first code of the day. The only way that you can redeem this code is by clicking or going to the link at the top of the YouTube chat. That will not be distributed to Twitch because this is a YouTube stream. Getting eyes on the last member of Godlike. He's just going to be holding his own here. Let's go for a bird's eye view. Oh! Wow, Excuse just laying waste. And goodness gracious, XEY still coming in. Panda at the ready. Sorry about that, guys. It's just so hard to get the time. We got Sixipoo of SKR holding his ground, but he's taking such a heap of damage, and down he goes like a bad habit. Oof, that's going to leave it all on Laggy Panda here. But ladies and gentlemen, no time to waste. Finally, the code for the first UC redemption, 600 UC CKEQZLGZCGB. Redeem that at the link attached to the top of the YouTube chat. Only one person can actually redeem that. It's first come, first serve. But don't worry, we're giving away one every single match. All right. I think we'll go back here a little bit. Oh my gosh, I don't know why that showed up right there. Laggy Panda is literally one floor below the opposition here and swimming in a pool of Ultimate Gaming members, or Excuse members, pardon me, and just holding his cool as best as possible, but you don't even want to breathe because this little shack is 4 walls of false comfort. One nade without even knowing if he's in there. Just a random maybe he's in there, throw it through the window, and like fish in a barrel, he will be removed from the equation just like that. Oh, here we go. Enigma facing off against Narcos GG here. We got Slinky holding a little bit of Overwatch for Limbs while Robin comes around and pulls a... Oh, he's corner holding here. Trying to catch a line on Brave if he puts himself in any sort of vulnerable position. Any sort of peaks could spell the end. But same can be said for Robin here. All right, well, Shots, however, is able to get a takedown, and that's going to bring Narcos all the way up to 7 kills so far. They're doing phenomenal, especially considering that they're a full 4-piece, and you guys, you cannot place enough emphasis on being a full 4-piece, especially come in-game on a map like Erangel. Wow, the final calm before the storm, ladies and gentlemen, and a pachinky finish. It's about to get going. Get ready to get sweaty. Let's get it. All right, Robin is down. Slinky is removed from the equation just like that. And Shots goes down as well. But look at this. Matt and Draco and... Oh, pardon me. Matt, Draco, and Kai still remain. Karma has been taken down as a retaliatory knock, or potentially even beforehand. But luckily for them, PUBG has graced them with a care package in case any of them are feeling a little bit weakened on armor, maybe even in need of a crate gun. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, the final calm before the storm here in round 1. We've got Narcos versus Tomorrow Guys versus Overrated versus Excuse. But Excuse and Narcos, both full 4-piece teams. All right, here's the push. It looks like Matt trying to weasel his way into some sort of cover, but, you know, you don't want to get too comfortable by any means here, as Matt is going to have to find out. His teammate, Draco, suffers the consequences, let his guard down, and quickly taken out. And this is going to leave Matt, Karma, and Kai here. But, boy, you don't want to rule these guys out. 15 kills to their name, and 13 of them between these 3 players remaining. All right, here we go. Code coming around the back end. It's down to just himself and Brave. Kai holding the opposition off. And, oh, just like that, boom goes the dynamite there. Brave holding a little bit of a sneaky snake position here, just staying in that shack, not really needing to move. All right. Well, guys, that's going to leave Ghost in a really tough conundrum here. A 1v3 scenario, and boom, the deed is done just like that. And ladies and gentlemen, any way you look at it, that's got to be game over. But we've got to give it up to the likes of Excuse. What a phenomenal performance. 20 kills even. Ladies and gentlemen, this is no small accomplishment, especially considering how many pro teams we had participating, and Excuse very well deserving of it. They've been a team who's participated in my event, I think, every single month since I've put it out, or ever since they came into fruition as an organized team. And I don't think they've ever been banned for missing a single match, if my memory serves correct. So just really well earned, and I'm glad to see the improvement. Well, we're going to give it up to the crew in Tomorrow Guys for grabbing second place. Ain't nothing wrong with silver, but at the same time, only 2 kills to their name, both of which go to 47. And as I said, ladies and gentlemen, we're not working with that old scoring structure. We're doing the elimination emphasized scoring structure, the new official scoring structure. So I think that this is actually not going to be quite enough to really make that mark that they want, but those placement points do help. We got Narcos GG acquiring 3rd place and doing so with 8 kills, half of which go to Brave. Members of OR, is this OR? ORK? Oh yeah, this is Overrated. My apologies, Overrated. That was a ditzy mistake on my end. Well, they're going to be taking 4th place, and how fitting, because they have 4 kills to them. We got XZY. This is the Yakult boys coming in 5th with 2. 1 from Sixy and 1 from Laggy Panda. Members of Enigma, Team Enigma, I believe, grabbing 6th place with 2 kills. Super Lazy Reflex in 7th, grabbing that with 3 kills. All 3 go to the long. We got 8th place belonging to One Blood with 5 kills between Slayer and Venom. Godlike Esports in 9th with 1 kill from God L. We got Visual Effects taking 10th, but with 0 kills to speak of. TRG Straight Execute in 11th with 2. Black Mamba in 12th with 4. 2 to Cat God and 2 to Nino. We got Try Esports in 13th with 2. The boys of Puppeteer are going to be grabbing 14th with 6, half of which go to Ben Chillin. Looney, this is the Looney Tunes, in 15th, but with 0 kills to speak of. Bope Esports in 16th with 4, 3 of which go to Nicro. We got Zero Eye in 17th, and how ironic, 0 kills. In-game in 18th, with 5 kills, 4 of which are between Kiddo and Baby G. Old Gangsters in 19th, but with 0 kills to speak of, and it was a rough ride for the Rough Riders as they take 20th and last place, but with 1 kill from Suck. Well, ladies and gents, that is just our first match out of the way, but we still have 2 more rounds ahead of us. That's right. Now, we've seen our participants on the very first map introduced to the game, Erangel, but that's the map that they're supposed to be most familiar with, most acquainted with, most synergized, most rehearsed on. But what's going to happen when we take things to that dry, open, arid desert? I am, of course, speaking about Miramar as we return for round 2 of 3 of my very own RedEyes $450 Dead in June tournament qualifiers for Group C in just a few short moments. Brought to you and sponsored by Hunter of Gunmen, Glacier Gaming, Crafton, and Lightspeed Studios. Be back soon. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that little format. Welcome back to round 2 of 3 of my very own RedEyes $450 Dead in June tournament qualifiers for Group C, brought to you and sponsored by Hunter of Gunmen, Glacier Gaming, Crafton, and Lightspeed Studios. And we are kicking off round 2 as, you guessed it, ladies and gentlemen, that wide open arid desert of Miramar. Now, what do we really need to say about a map like Miramar? Well, essentially, it's the largest map that we have in the game. Now, technically, that's not true, as Erangel's also an 8x8 map, but that includes Erangel's bodies of water. So realistically, this is going to be our largest map, meaning that the odds of two teams landing next to each other is just going to be a bit slimmer. But as we all know, it's also the most open map that we have in the game, meaning that the odds of you being sniped from 300 meters away is just going to be exponentially higher than any other map. And the third and final thing I want to say is that, you know, this is a map that's so large that it's almost entirely reliant upon the flight path to determine what sort of early game we end up getting. So with that being said, we are not working with it by any means a centralized flight path, but it's not a bad one. And the only reason that I'm going to say that is, and it's very specific to Miramar only, it's because of this channel right here that goes from prison to Campo Militar up at the northeast. And this little line right here is going to string you right in between two strings of compounds and cities. And the good thing about the path that our participants have is that's running parallel to it. So almost everywhere in that line is still going to be droppable here. But yeah, no time to waste. Let's go ahead and get into what's happening. Round 2, and we don't need that format graphic. Oh, wow. So just to get the other map up here so everyone can see, this is not a ideal first zone, I should say, for the participants. A huge portion of that is occupied by water. What does that mean for us, the viewer, though? It's good, because it means that we are due for some early action on, and it's only that water's only gonna limit our participants' options in terms of real estate. So let's see what we might get on the board. But to start things off with, I'm going to go check in on members of Yakult, because they are not far off from the old gangsters. Now, old gangsters here, Katri already removed from the equation. Daku running through an open field, nothing but vulnerable, and it does not look like he has a single thing. No armor, no weapons, and that is a really tough position to be in. But looks like Black Mamba having a bit of a rough go in the distance. It looks like Jin and Cat God have already been taken down. Jin quickly thirsted to follow, leaving it up to Papi Triste and Nino. But I think they're going to have a little bit of space between themselves and the remainder of Tri Esports. Now, talk about stuck in between a rock and a hard place. He's literally in between a rock and a shack, but P2 using those little four walls of false comfort to just remain out of the line of sight of his opposition. I don't think he's, you know, hoping to hide from any nades per se with it, but just hopefully remain under the radar so they don't just pick him apart. It does not look like he has the resources necessary to defend himself. But look here, ladies and gentlemen, excuse Matt with a crossbow. I love to see that. I'm guessing that's probably more so out of necessity than preference, but we're about to see, because he is just across the street from a member of Zero Eye, but even closer is going to be T2YO. Yeah, not far off from Kai, but ooh, it looks like members of Overrated having a tough go in the distance. We'll check in on them on the alt cam, I think. Yeah, we see Spark aiming in with that Winchester, trying to catch a line on his opponent. And yep, his other teammate up in the mix. We've got Shanks desperately trying to get looted up, and he's got the Uzi to secure a thirst. Better than nothing. All right, but you know what? I don't want to stick around for too long if these teams are just going to hang out around each other. We're going to go check in on Puppeteer. Yes, I know it's happening, but I still want to see what is happening elsewhere. So, let's get eyes on Puppeteer, entering this match as a three-piece. But again, anyone who knows Puppeteer knows they are a Tier 1 professional team. and not to be taken any sort of lightly. We got Reckless here holding the high ground. UMP 45, close quarter combat annihilator in hand. Ooh, that nade brisking him, just barely edging off a little piece of his health, bring him down to about 4/5 overall. And from there on, it was just a numbers game as Puppeteer picked their opponent apart. We're going to go see about maybe ENKZZ here of Team Enigma. He's pretty darn close to members of One Blood. However, One Blood's fairly spread out and doesn't seem to be too eager for holding him off at bay. It looks like they're just going to let him move on by and do what he's got to do. Oh, looks like Spark having a tough go of it in the distance. Yeah, let's go check in on it. So, in-game, reduced down to Baby G, OK, and Kiddo. But, yeah, they've got very close by threat, and that's going to be in the form of Overrated. We've got Nanny making the push here. Here we go. Uzi in hand, but with only 7 bullets. 7 9mm bullets to fire out of that thing is not going to do a lot of good in this situation. So he's going to have to, desperate times, desperate measures the situation and come at it with a DMR, a Mini 14. Going to have to single tap like his life depends upon it, because it very much does. Oop, nades are cooking, and it looks like Ultimate Gaming having a rough go of it in the distance. Well, it does not seem like these two teams are that eager to just advance on one another. So we're going to go check in on Looney Tunes. Now, entering this match as a 4-piece. You know, last match they held their own as a 3, but fairly close proximity to TRG. Now, I don't know if that's going to be anything to stay tuned into or not. But as I say that, Shanks being fired upon, but not really hitting any marks on him. And the good thing Shanks has going for him is he's holding that high ground and Overwatch, so I don't feel overly concerned for his safety here. But getting eyes on visual effects, this could be a different scenario. Visual effects, a bit of a low ground disadvantage to the high holders of Yakult Club. As you can see, Toki just trying to move along by. Everyone's just rendering in at the moment. My apologies for that second map. I'm not supposed to be leaving that up on the screen, but all right. I think, you know what, just for the sake of looking at the map, though, we will tune in. Yeah. We're going to go over to Team 5 here for just a very brief moment. Yeah, it's a member of Godlike, was relatively close to the opposition in Old Gangsters, but it's not going to happen. So we're going to catch this potential drive-by here between Try Esports and Visual Effects. Looks like Try Me is the closest to the opposition, but it doesn't seem like Visual is either aware or concerned with them. So maybe this is not going to be the next altercation just yet. What about this little gap that's... Oh, yeah, it's closing. Yeah, it's closing. TRG straight execute, not far from One Blood, but holding a open low ground disadvantage, and just going to bring up a great point here, ladies and gentlemen. What Dark is doing, you know, when compound cover becomes few and far between, that's when it really comes down to knowing the resources that you can utilize. In this case, that's the geography, knowing the good hills and divots, knowing the good boulders, knowing where you can get some bits of cover. But look, his teammate Nukes catching Makuri unawares, and this rotation could be good, especially given, if we look at the map here on the top right, you can see Makuri is not looking his way at all. But that vehicle is very likely going to give up their location if they're not careful. Dark at the forefront of this push? No. Nukes is. Dark is holding the attention. This is a great 3-1 split here, and an opportunity for Dark to basically steal the attention here and get Makuri's eyes on him. All the while, Targal just working his way up. He's already on the rock. hearing shots. I don't think McCurry knew, but now he does. And quick work. Just out of curiosity here, we know that there's more. Oh boy. Yeah, there it is. It's Silent of One Blood Esports cooking up a nade for Arhu. And if this hits, money? No, just a little bit undercooked. But the throw was almost perfect. Yeah, I'm going to get another view here on the alt cam. It looks like Puppeteer might be having at it. Yeah, this is the closest altercation at hand for the moment, though. More nades where the first one started, but all is Silent on the cliff tops here as Silent holds the low ground, and it looks like his opposition is going to dip out of dodge, weighing their options and prioritizing placement in this new zone as the focus, and I don't blame them. All right, let's go check in just briefly on the Puppeteer crew. Now, keep in mind, this is Puppeteer as a three-piece. Hang, Reckless, and Ben Chillin. Ben Chillin doing some heavy work there, that last one, but not getting the placement that they needed at all. So there's a lot of ground to make up for here in this go-around. Looks like Team Enigma having a tough call there off in the distance as TRG straight execute rips into him. Yeah, and looks like not a lot else happening with that. As I say that, we got Hang firing on multiple high ground holders in visual effects. He's outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, but keeping the pressure on them, and they're, honestly, the intimidation factor is working. They might not know that he's a solo right here. But if he's not aware of Yui's little flank there, that could spell the end for him. All right, let's catch eyes. Reckless and Ben Chillin holding position. It looks like Ben Chillin is, actually, pardon me, it's Hang closest to the opposition here. But he does have these little bits of walls and cover here. So his location, while it may be known, oh, Hang gives up that advantage that I was just speaking of and quickly getting put in check as he is shot down to half health right there and then. All the while, Godlike having at it in the distance. Let's go check in on God L. Yeah, Rhea and Astro here. Whatever the altercation was, the deed is done. So, checking in on the Mambas. We're down to 2 snakes in the grass left. And here we see Nino firing from the high ground onto Puppeteer, getting some great damage in there onto Reckless, but not enough to finish the job. And boy, now you've got them upset. So what are you going to do from here? Reckless holding just over the peak of the hill, utilizing what natural geographical cover he can. But boy, one nade could separate him from life and death. It looks like his teammates doing a little overwatch here for him. He's going to try to make his big break here right now. This is a risky rotation here, going through this open area in a bus. It's a slow drive through open field. But with his teammates there keeping the opposition at bay, he might just make it. So let's go tune in to some other altercations on the board now. It's kind of tough to choose which, so I think on the alt cam we'll get eyes on in-game up against members of Yakult Club, and we'll keep eyes on Godlike here for the big screen. Ah, come on. Yep, well, Godlike just swarming onto a member of the Tomorrow Guys. Oh, no, it wasn't on Tomorrow Guys. It was on a different team. Tomorrow Guys is still a full 4-piece, but they definitely heard those shots. However, with this much open space between the two teams, I could see a fight happening. I could see some knocks happening. I don't see many thirsts being a likely possibility here with that kind of compound cover and open field to space between them. All right. Well, we're about to find out, though, ain't we? Because Godlike is firing southbound, keeping the pressure on the Tomorrow Guys. But who's this back here? It's Dark from TRG Straight Execute with a flank rotation of his own. It's going to be a 3-1 split. He could get all the attention of the tomorrow, guys. And this could be a real opportunity for his team if they were aware, but I don't think they are. All right. Well, yeah, I don't want to check this out for too much longer. We're going to go check out the map, see if anything else is happening on the playing field at the moment. Doesn't seem to be. So I guess we'll stay here for now, and I'll catch eyes on the alt map, make sure we're not missing anything there. Actually, we are. So let's catch eyes. Oh, very close to visual effects, and it looks like they are going to square off. Nicro pulling a little bit of a rotation to try to get some high ground overwatch, and this is a very interesting problem as that nade just swarms on him, hellfire raining down on him, and Nicro was not even close to surviving that. They had his number from the get-go. Well, that's going to leave it down to GR, Miner, and Fuego, and it looks like GR is got a little bit of a conundrum in that he's got a member of visual effects here to hold off at bay. So it's really putting the pressure here on Miner to do the overwatch. And it's a nade onto Miner, too! Oh, the poor fella. Well, GR and Fuego remain. Okay. Well, GR. Wow! The recoil control on this guy as he 6x M4 shoots up the hill from a low ground disadvantage, just wrecking into the opposition and visual effects. But Wags only taken down to about half health. That distance is going to definitely affect that bullet damage, I'm assuming there. And that, because he had to have hit at least 3 or 4 shots there. So, yeah. Just one little thing. The distance is going to even the odds a little bit. But Ben Chillin of Puppeteer wrecking into visual effects and maybe even getting a third-party kill steal taken away from members of Bope. Yeah, look at this Ben Chillin holding there. Oh, and that is Toki being taken right out of the equation, even through the compound. Shot through the window by Miner. Miner not wasting any time, just focusing in on the remainder of visual effects, and that's going to be down to Delore alone. And Delore weighing his options and dipping out of dodge, probably. That's what I would do if I was him. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint, and you don't want to eliminate your chances of advancing here. Well, he's got to take the fight on after all, as GR wrecks into the vehicle. He's got no choice. He's got to take this fight. Oh, but the third-party shots from the Bope teammates. And GR actually flanking back. And you know what? As Delore tried to take advantage of that rotation, boy, Bope emphasizing their experience right there and then. Great overwatch to protect GR. And then lets him work his way on up to finish the deal. But no time for wasting at this point. We still have to keep eyes on members of the Rough Riders who... really had a rough ride there in round 1, all puns intended, as they were eliminated in last place. But look here, guys. Looney Tunes gonna face off against TRG Straight Execute, all the while members of One Blood rotating northbound around them. Ooh, Kimchi is taken out of the equation, but Komochi retaliates with a knock on Dark. It's Komochi and KZZ here. KZZ is downed and outside of the zone. Not looking very optimistic in terms of odds of him being revived from this point, but it could happen still. Technically, nope, I withdraw that. That zone is doing the damage that I expected it to. Bringing me to a great point, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to my events, then you have an excuse, but if you're not, I've been doing this for 2 years, boosting those zone closing speeds and damage because I have no tolerance for camping. So if you're new to a RedEyes event, there is your free gift as a thank you for watching. No zone camping or you will be eliminated due to the room program. The way I guess the room specs. All right. Ooh, Lala of SLR laying ways here, keeping the pressure on members of BOPE, who are even using members of wanted vigilantes here on their team. Lala not able to actually finish any of the job there, though, unfortunately. But luckily for him, an unintentional third-party assist from the likes of One Blood as they get Miner knocked, kind of evening the odds here for Lala. Now all he really has to do is worry about GR, but with Godlike having this high ground behind BOPE, it really seems like they're the deli meat in this peanut butter and trouble sandwich. Tell you what, we'll get eyes on Godlike yet again here from the alt cam. There's still a full 4-piece, ladies and gentlemen, and you can hear those shots. It's going to be at the hands of Neo, firing away, dishing out damage, and holding off the opposition and Puppeteer at bay. And Puppeteer, just like that, eliminated from the equation. So now, I think the best thing to tune into will have to be SLR versus BOPE. 2 tier 1s preparing to potentially face off. Looks like SLR going to do a bit of a split here. Lala going to make his big break, driving through that open field, but so far, no significant damage to him, and none to his vehicle, really. Well, White Elegy does take a little bit of a hit, being reduced down to a little over 2/3 of his health, but looks like GR having a rough go of it as members of Godlike wreck into him. Elegy had a real opportunity for some kill steals there, but I think he made the right call in just, exerting a little bit of self-control, because I think if he did peek there, it would have been the last move he made. He might have gotten the thirst, but I think he would have definitely been eliminated as a result of it. Well, excuse facing off against Yakult. And boy, Matt facing the nade, swallowing that nade as Karma's trying to bring him back to life. Karma's getting a nade raining down on him. It's a thunderstorm. The forecast is calling for heavy, heavy nades and mollies. And boy, Laggy Panda catching one in retaliation as Kai keeps the pressure on back on him. And this is going to be interesting with Redog knocked. Laggy Panda and Sixy going to have to hold the attention here. Laggy Panda below half health. Luckily, Sixy a bit more healed up, going to be able to start contributing to this retaliation and defense. Throw in some utilities that aren't really hitting the mark. And how long is this battle of utilities going to rage on? It can't be for much longer. They have to be running out of resources. Well, SLR's Lala getting another takedown in the distance, as we can see right there. Sixy Poo and Laggy Panda in a 2v4. They get Karma. Matt's down. Laggy Panda's down. It's all on 6. And down he goes. So, I withdraw. Redog, who I thought was knocked, is actually just extremely low on health with nothing for meds, but he still gets a takedown? No, he does not. And ultimately, he's eliminated by the zone. But God L picking off members of Excuses as they try to work their way into zone. And ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our in-game down to our final 3 teams spread across 7 people. It's going to be the likes of Godlike NA versus Black Mamba and in-game. We got ourselves a 2v2v3, an almost fair fight to end round 2. All right. Now we've got the full scene in the equation here, ladies and gentlemen. We got Nino, the last hope for Black Mamba, utilizing what little... Oh, pardon me. Him and Poppy Triste remain. Oh, we got a 2v2v3 still. Okay, I thought for a second there that a member of Godlike had been eliminated, but we've got the full playing field in perspective now. No need to worry. Well, with Kiddo and Nino so close, it actually is going to be Rhea of Godlike wrecking into Nino, leaving Poppy Triste as the final hope for the Mambas. All right. It's Poppy Triste's big break, but oh, it is not going to be a break after all. And that is it for him. And now we are down to a 2v3. Godlike versus in-game. Let's get it. Well, that is it. The zone is going to be what finishes off in-game. But give them credit. At least they did make it to the end game this time around. But one consistent does remain. It's going to be Godlike putting up a phenomenal performance and securing that gold medal first place finish with chicken fresh on the tip of their tongue. They're going to be taking that with 12 kills even, and half of those go to Rhea alone. Heavy backpack on his end. We got members of in-game securing second, ain't nothing wrong with silver, with 4 kills to their name, half of which go to Kiddo. The Black Mambas in third with 2 kills from Papi Triste. Let me see. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I do remember. Don't you worry, don't you worry, don't you worry. I almost forgot for a brief second as I'm still getting in the habit of these UC codes, but let's go ahead and do them. The code can be redeemed at the top of the YouTube chat is the link, but the second UC code of the night for 600 UC is gonna be CKEQZLHZ5VD. CKEQZLHZ5VD. That's redeemable at the link at the top of the YouTube chat, and it's worth that 600 UC. All right. Well, moving on here. We got the Black Mambas in third. 2 kills to Papi Triste. Excuse. What a performance on the end of Excuse, especially after how they did in round 1. This is going to be worth 19 kills for Excuse. This is a different team that I am used to seeing. Much more kill intensive, much more aggressive, and not wasting the opportunity to get those elimination points. All right, SLR grabbing 5th place this time around with 3 kills. All 3 came from Lala. We got Yakult in 6th place with 6 kills, 4 of which go to Sixy. Bope in 7th place with 3. The Tomorrow guys grabbing 8th place this time around with 2. 9th place belongs to One Blood with 2 kills, both of which go to Slayer. The Rough Riders faring a little bit better this time around, getting 10th place with 3 kills. Puppeteer in 11th, entering as a 3-piece and still managing 5 kills to their name. The Looney Tunes in 12th with 3 kills, all of which came from Kamochi. The Narcos GG Boys in 13th, but with 0 kills to speak of. TRG Straight Execute securing 14th with 6, half of which go to Nukes. Visual Effects in 15th with 1 kill from Wags. Try Esports in 16th with 0. Team Enigma in 17th with 0. We got Override in 18th with 1 kill from Shanks. Zero Eye in 19th with 0. And the Old Gangsters falling a little bit short this time around, 20th and last place with 0. Well, alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that's 2 rounds out and down and done with, but we still do have 1 round ahead of us. Now, we've seen our participants on the very first map ever of Erangel and now the wide open desert of Miramar, but what is going to happen when we conclude our evening in that lush condensed forest? I am, of course, speaking about Sanhok as we return for our 3rd and final round of my very own RedEyes $450 Dead in June tournament qualifiers for Group B, brought to you and sponsored by Hunter of Gunmen, Glacier Gaming, Crafted, and Lightspeed Studios in just a few short moments. Stick around. We'll be back soon. Alrighty, welcome back, all you cutie patooties, to our third and our final round of the night for my very own RedEyes $450 Dead in June tournament qualifiers for Group C, brought to you and sponsored by Hunter of Gunmen, Glacier Gaming, Crafted in Lightspeed Studios, and we are ending the night with, you guessed it, that lush condensed forest of Sanhok. Now, what do we need to say about a map like Sanhok? Basically the exact opposite of our last match, which was Miramar, our largest map. This is going to be our smallest. Now, technically, you know, Livik, Karakin, and now the new map, Nusa, are all smaller. But we don't really mess with those that much in the esports scene. So this is going to be the smallest map that we have, meaning the odds of two teams landing next to each other is just going to be a bit higher. But it's also the most condensed map, meaning that, you know, there's very lush vegetation. It's very condensed. There's more natural cover to take, more grass to hide inside, and trees and boulders to hide behind. So you got to be alert for a higher than average number of snakes than usual. And the third and final thing I want to say about Sanhok is that it's fairly independent of the flight path, meaning that you can get pretty much anywhere you want just by deploying your chute early enough. And here we see TRG straight execute dropping alongside the opposition in Rough Riders. So this is going to be interesting right off the bat. We got 2 OP firing away, but actually taken down in retaliation. Not even able to dish out much damage to Dark, taking him down to about 3/4 and then knocked out of the equation. But Suck coming back with a retaliatory knock of his own and then aiming in on Nukes, taking him down to below half. Oh, man. Tell you what, we'll get both sides of the altercation here. And it looks like Black Mamba is actually firing in from further back in the actual lobster portion of boot camp. Well, Suck gonna go try to get a revive here and secure a thirst in the process. This is kind of what you sign up for when you drop booty camp, ladies and gentlemen. If you're real willing to be risky, you can get a lot of easy kills before your opponents are looted up, but it is not coming without a price. You are at high risk of an early elimination. All right. Well, here we go. Nukes versus SUK. And Nukes, with no health to speak of, is just really in trouble. But luckily, Targal coming up from the back to provide a little assistance. Now we got a 2v2 on our hands, but SUK with that UMP-45 finishing the job right there and then. Well, they're out of the frying pan into the fire as now the Black Mambas are closing in on them. And, ooh, SUK taking some shots from the side there. All the while, Looney Tunes and the Tomorrow guys having at it. So we'll go catch that in the alt view. So that's going to leave everything down to 2 OP for the Rough Riders. And this is going to be a tough one. A 1v4 scenario, outnumbered, outmanned, and outgunned. And that is that. No time to waste. Let's go check in on these other fights here happening on the playing field. We've got a few, actually. I think we'll start off with getting eyes on the members of Narcos GG here and this potential standoff altercation with the boys and girls in Overrated. We got Spark here. He's the only real close one to the threat, holding position in this shack, and realistically, that's a huge opportunity for his teammates to pull a nice side flank and catch the opponent unawares. But hindsight's always 20/20 when you got the bird's eye view. They don't have that. Okay, well, we do have a little ticking time bomb here in the form of Noise. Noise just holding position, but he does have a DBS here for this 1v4 scenario. Can he do it? Does not land a single DBS shot on a single opponent. That could not have gone worse for him at all. But no time to reflect on it. We got Zero Eyes, Sue Whoop, coming in after Kiddo of In-Game. This is going to be a standoff here. Nope, here we go. DBS is everywhere. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you heard the news and saw they are bringing a nerf to the DBS. Thank goodness. So this M4 DBS new meta combo will finally get cut in its tracks a little bit moving forward on the next update. All right, so the Narcos, we got Code being revived here by shots, while Brave and Banga provide the overwatch and cover fire up against their opponents here in Overrated, who are pulling a nice little flank rotation around the compounds, I guess the city itself. What is on the playing field? Well, we got a couple things. We got the last guy from in-game, Kiddo, just kicking it here. And, I mean, he really is in a conundrum. He does not want to bring any attention to himself if his team has any chance of qualifying. And if they do have any chance of qualifying, then it all rides on this match. So he would need to perform well and get the placement points. And here he is engaging on a 1v4 fight against Yakult. Gonna be a tough one for him to maneuver. All odds stacked against him here. And with 0 utilities to speak of, it's gonna be a pretty gruesome situation if I'm gonna be making predictions. Let's see. Anything else in the playing field? Yeah, I guess we'll catch eyes on Bope. We got GR potentially going to get pushed in on from the north by members. Yeah, it's going to be by members of Overrated if it does happen, but I'm not so convinced. Other than that, we got a bit of a spread. So, while we have a brief moment, we're going to go over the format one last time for the night. Nice knock on Sucky. Taking a lot of damage in retaliation. Kiddo is taken down to below half health. And here comes 60 with the rotation while Redog holds the back end. This is not looking good, but he does have some medicine. But I'm assuming any attempt at a first aid is going to result in a nade raining on his head. But he gets 6! Can he pull it off? Can he manage a 1v3? A squad wipe from the dead zone? I'm honestly rooting for him as an underdog at this point. But it's not going to happen. Boy, pandas might be in danger, but this is the jungle, baby. Welcome to the jungle! All right. I'm so sorry about that. I immediately regretted doing it. All right, we're going to switch over to members of Team 22. This is going to be the likes of Excuse, who have been performing pretty darn well today. At this point, it's Kai and the boys driving in through a range of opponents and troubles here. They've got members of Puppeteer holding the high ground and just putting the bullets onto the car, just raining it down, and that car is out of commission just like that, having to weigh their options. They don't have a lot of space here. They are close enough to a compound, but it's Sanhok, where geographical cover is everywhere. So they're not without hope, even having this low ground disadvantage. Well, you know what else is happening on the playing field? We got members of Looney Tunes preparing for a fight. That's going to be up against none other than Try Esports. And here we see Kimochi with the high ground wrecking into P2, taking him down to below half health. But he's actually got a teammate up in the mix. It's Kamichi. There's Kimochi and Kamichi here. Oh, well, Kamichi's down just like that. All right, we'll go check in on that. That seems to be a more interesting fight. More intense. Kimochi and KZZ remain here, but they are literally sandwiched in a 2-2 split. Could Try Me utilize this BOA method and constrict upon the opposition in Looney Tunes, simultaneously keeping the pressure and using that pressure factor in those first few moments when they realize they're surrounded? That's when they panic. Well, P2 coming in from a low ground. That probably could have been played a little bit slower. A side flank rotation and coming in and surprising him from the back end with the high ground. That seems like it might have been the better move, but it would have probably taken at least 30 more seconds to get in place. So with that zone moving as fast as it is, I can totally see why they weren't willing to make that sacrifice. Well, SLR versus Yakult off in the distance. It's down to, well, actually, it's a full 4-piece. We got Long here just being the poster boy for patience.
as Panda didn't even know about his location. White Elegy from a way far off distance, providing that overwatch so effectively. And that's going to put Reed Dog in a real pickle here. And boy, if there's anything I can repeat and emphasize for the viewers is that I boost these zones up. If you're in a RedEyes event, do not hang out in that dead zone, because this is true in any case of PUBG Mobile, but especially in my event, nobody, and I mean nobody, has a higher KD than that blue zone. All right, well, SLR Long finishing the job, and now they are up to 2 kills, still a full 4-piece, and here we go. Bope and Godlike Esports, pretty darn close in proximity to one another. Looks like Fuego is going to be falling back, not too eager for that smoke just yet. Black Mambas and the Team Enigma crew going to have to face off probably, and especially for the likes of Slinky and KZZ here. We got Papi Triste holding his own just on the edge of that hill, but does he know about the opposition here? Because he's getting away from them and getting closer to Excuse. It's not looking optimistic for him. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are reaching I guess let's say the second half here. Yeah, second half of our final round here, but we got a bit of downtime, so we'll go over the format one last time. 20 teams competing in these qualifiers, and of those 20 teams, 4 teams will advance to the $450 qualifiers, and we run 3 rounds of qualifiers, so that's 12 qualified teams, plus the 8 invited Tier 1 professional teams. Well, they'll all duke it out on Wednesday for the $450 cash prize. That's $400 to first place, and $50 to the most kills, the top frag. Boy, it is ironic that the most downtime we have in a match is on our smallest map of the night. But, hey, these things do happen. So, Alright. I think I'm going to catch eyes on Puppeteers. Keep in mind, they're a full 4-piece once again. And so, Godlike is going to definitely have to give them the respect that they're due here. Puppeteer has earned that intimidation factor. They're a very good team, and you do not want to give it any easy mistakes to them, especially with Ben Chillin, who seems to be their aggressive killer here for the night, their highest eliminator at the forefront of this altercation. Oh, and it's a bit of the waiting game. Remember what I said, ladies and gentlemen? This is where the snakes are in the grass looming. And speaking of snakes, I kind of want to go check in on Black Mamba off in the alt cam, just to make sure that they're not involved in anything. And because I got to say snakes and have a transition, whatever. Yeah, they don't have any threat nearby. So here we have it. Ben chilling right... Well, he's chilling right up next to Neo of Godlike. And Neo is really the one who's outnumbered here. His 3 remaining teammates all back at the compounds behind him. This is not spelling a good situation, because while they can do a little bit of Overwatch and cover fire, they're not really going to be able to do it all too effectively with this many geographical blocks in their way, meaning this many boulders and trees blocking their line of sight on Puppeteer. Mix that with the boulders that are, literally blocking the bullets here at the tip of this hill. It's going to be hard to really assist Neo unless they come up and work their way in. And that is exactly why we're seeing Rhea, the Godlike's heavy hitter here, working his way up on the side. Astro coming up the left side. Oh, yeah, this is going to be an altercation in the making. Oh my gosh, Chillin's got to be done for here, right? Yup! That pancake got flipped right there. Alright, Reckless firing away. Nades raining down on Godlike, not doing enough to emphasize the damage. See, what I meant about that geographical block? See, we're trying to just have a bird's eye view, and we're having trouble because all these things blocking our line of sight, so imagine how tough it would have been for Godlike. Excuse Kai going after the Mambas off in the distance. We'll catch eyes on that on the alt cam right now. We're down to Dong of Puppeteer and Hang. Now, if we watched PMPL, you saw Jukes having a field day with this guy right here. Ooh, actually, Reckless is still about. Up and about. Oh, don't fire on One Blood. That's just suicide. All right. Well, the Molly's raining down on the rooftop, but not quite connecting here. And here comes Neo, utilizing the geographical cover and utility cover, just snaking his way on forward. Speaking of snaking, look at Astro here on the right. Literally just a snake in the grass here. Boy, well, we hear the fight going off in the distance. Let's catch eyes. Matt, barely dodging the molly, but just his own undoing, basically. Catching himself on fire in hopes of getting that nade out the window, and then a nade falling on him. He was already a burning bush, but that bush got put out of his misery right there. And here we have it. Ultimate Gaming, Draco being revived by his ally Karma. All the while, the Mambas creeping their way in, and Enigma holding a little bit of overwatch here. Yeah, Excuse is definitely the deli meat in this unfortunate sandwich, and Karma's taken down by that nade right there, and then we have a half-health Draco remaining. All right. Well, God L coming in. Here we go. God L gets a quick takedown on Hang with that DBS. He's still at half health. Oh, Rhea's down. It's down to Neo and God L. And L is down. Last hope. Here comes Neo. Guns ablazing. No health to remain. At the drop down, he risked it for the biscuit, but that biscuit is not going to taste good. So we are going to go catch eyes once again on the boys in Puppeteer, who are just laying an onslaught of bullets on their oppositions beneath them out in the dead zone, One Blood Esports. But keep in mind, Puppeteer is at a huge number disadvantage. Half the members of One Blood, and still keeping the aggression on and keeping the pressure on the low ground holders. They do have the high ground working in their favor. Oh, but that is Reckless being a little bit too reckless, leaving it down to... All right, I have to do this. Can one, at first, I thought Dong was playing, a little soft here, but I really think, this is kind of that late night, Dong's going to come rise on up, man, and just annihilate the competition, It is going to be a bit of a stiff competition for sure, though, but, oh, yep. With Reckless going to have to take that zone damage, Dong is going to have to weasel his way in through the crevices, work his way into that slim zone. And here we have it. Yep. That Dong is done, probably. Nope, he still has the boulder for cover. Geographical cover in its finest form here, but visual effects keeping the pressure on him as the nade rains against him. No time to waste, though. Just had to do the jokes there, but ooh, Robin taken down in the distance by Dong right there and then. But we still have other fights happening on the playing field. Yeah, One Blood down to Venom, who clearly does not have anyone watching the stream, where he would have known this is not the event to zone camp in. 2 years, I've been doing this event almost 2.5 years now, and sometimes there's people who still don't know. All right, well, that's it for him. The Dong is done. We got ourselves a 1v2. It's going to be visual effects versus Team Enigma. Let's get it. And the nade to finish the night. Ooh, golly. Well done at the end of Team Enigma. Very nicely done under the pressure here. But ladies and gents, any way you look at it, that's got to be game over. I'm going to title this one End Game Nade. Okay. Well, ironically, it's not the team end game. I hope I don't get that confused. Well, at Team Enigma, first place, 6 kills to their name. Really well done. Half of those kills going to Limbs alone. We got members of Visual Effects securing that silver medal second place finish with 4, and half of those kills go to Wags. One Blood coming in third. Ain't nothing wrong with bronze this time around with 2 kills, one from McCurry, one from Venom. The Puppeteer Boys grabbing 4th this time around with 7 kills, but 6 of those 7 go on a heavy backpack dong right there. Black Mamba in 5th place. The Snakes thrive in the jungle, and they did so here in 5th place with 10 kills to their name, 6 of which go to Jin. SLR, Super Lazy Reflex, grabbing 6th place with 4 kills between Long and Lala. We got Bope Esports in 7th with 5. Ladies and gents, I did not forget, I do want to do the codes here, but I wanted to make sure I had you all stick around to the very, very end. So, while we do it, let me make sure I got everything correct. Yep, we got it. So, the final UC code of the evening, bam, CKEQZLIZ7N8. And that is redeemable at the link pinned to the top of the YouTube chat. So, that is the final 600 UC code, ladies and gentlemen. Only first come, first serve. Only one person's going to get it. So, we got to be fast. CKEQZLIZ7N8. All right. Well, we're going to give it up to, as I said, SLR, 6th place with 4. Bope grabbing 7th this time around with 5 kills, 4 of which came from Nicro. 8th place belonging to Try Esports with 5 kills, 4 of which between Young and Sasuke. Godlike in 9th with 4, half of which go to Rhea. Excuse in 10th this time around. Bit of a tougher pill to swallow. Only 1 kill going to Kai. We got Override in 11th with 1 kill to Spark. The Occult Boys in 12th with 4, half of which go to Reed Dog. We got Narcos GGs in 13th with 1 kill from Code. Looney Tunes in 14th saying that's all folks with 6 kills. We got In-Game in 15th with 4 kills, all going to Kiddo. Zero Eye in 16th with 0. Rough Riders in 17th with 3. And we got the Tomorrow Guys in 18th, but with a big fat onion for kills. TRG Straight Execute grabbing 19th with 2 kills from Targal. And lastly, the Old Gangsters in 20th and last place, but with 0 kills to speak of, unfortunately for them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be all of the qualifiers that we have. All the matches to decide who's going to make it to the finals are already out of the way. So, without further ado, I am so happy to get this out and released a little bit early this time. But the Dead in June finals, bam, 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 day after tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing 7 Tier 1 North American professional heavy hitters to the table to join the 12 qualified participants, where they're going to be duking it out over 4 quick matches to see who wants that $400 first place prize and who wants that $50 top frag the most. But keep awares, ladies and gentlemen, you are not missing out here. This is going to be, as long as we are getting those codes provided to us by the sponsors, as hopefully we will be, there's going to be 10 600 UC codes over those 4 matches. So you're not going to want to miss it. Everybody is going to have numerous chances to win here. So I hope to see you guys there Wednesday to face off against YKG and Hyper, Mezexis, Jaguar, Passionfruit, Aton, and Execute at the $450 Dead in June Tournament Finals, brought to you and sponsored by Hunter of Gunmen, Glacier Gaming, Crafton, and Lightspeed Studios. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor and pleasure getting to cast these qualifiers for you guys. If you're not already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, because I'm desperately trying to grow my YouTube, and I do have full intention of transferring this event to a YouTube exclusive thing once we build up the follower base on there a little bit more. But with that being said, guys, I don't want to waste more of your time. I certainly hope to see you guys day after tomorrow, Wednesday, starting at 9 o'clock p.m. EST for the $450 finals. I'm RedEyes. I'll see you next time. GG's.